Hey everyone, it's Callum here. So today we're going to give you an inside look at exactly what our roadmap sessions look like. Now this one's in person. A lot of the ones we do are through Zoom. The process is going to be exactly the same. And what we're going to show you is exactly how we take a student from feeling a little bit overwhelmed, a little bit confused, a little bit lost, to getting complete clarity within 60 to 90 minutes. So in order to get that clarity, there's really 2 or 3 key things that we cover. First of all is we cover a brand roadmap for usually the next 6 to 12 months, and then we reverse engineer that back. So let's say you start in 12 months out, and then we'll have maybe 6-month benchmarks, 3-month benchmarks, 1-month benchmarks, and then what we're doing today. So we have to know what the goal is. Okay, we have to know what we're trying to hit so that we can actually hit it. Right? That's one of the most important things in business and definitely in fashion, is having an accurate way to actually measure stuff, right? Otherwise, how do you track it? How do you know you're moving forward? So the first thing is we get a roadmap in place. Then what we do is we work on a digital marketing plan, and then we do a deep dive and break down finances, margins, brand books, your business model, basically everything, even the supply chain side as well. And we look at holistically the overall picture, and then we break it down, and then we put that all in to the brand roadmap, so that afterwards you're like, wow, now I know exactly the next 1, 2, 3, 4 steps to do, so that I know how to move forward with my brand. One of the questions that we get asked as well is like, why do we need to do like a roadmap session? Why can you just not give me the solution to my problems like that, right? Anytime you see a company or a service provider or someone who is just saying, go and do this without first looking at your brand initially, you should be very skeptical. It's like going to a doctor, the doctor just giving you some pills without first diagnosing what's going wrong. So a brand roadmap session is about first diagnosing exactly what the problem is, then we can prescribe the solution. So this is why it's really critical that we do this first. Otherwise, it's like, again, you're going to a doctor, it's like, hey, take these pills, right? Here's a generic solution. That's how most companies operate, and we understood quickly from seeing a lot of this stuff out there that it's just not effective for most people. So today we're working with Alessandra, who is a student from Zurich in Switzerland. She has made one of the mistakes that we see a lot of brand owners make, where they go and they buy a bunch of stock without really having an idea how to sell it. So all that stock is sat there in a warehouse in Germany. We have to first understand what's the potential of that brand. Let's break it down. Let's understand what the biggest challenges are. Let's understand how to come up with the solutions. And then what you're going to see is how we actually pivot and move in a new direction towards a brand that's more in alignment with solving an actual problem in the market. Her product is great in the sense that it has a big margin. So one of the things that we always say is that, particularly in that first 6 to 12 months, you're looking for a flagship product that has the margin to scale. You're looking for a scalable marketing channel in which you can actually sell that product on, right? So Facebook ads, Instagram influencer marketing, TikTok, whatever it's going to be. The thing that we love about Alessandra's product is that it has the great margin, like I said, and it's also a little bit unique and different in the sense of the materials used and stuff like that. But her brand proposition is not strong enough, and her product is not really solving any type of problem, or it's not improving or tweaking or making something better for a particular group of people, which is one of the things that is really, really important when you have a brand. So what you're going to see today is how we end up moving in a new direction, because she had problems with production. Her particular product, it was really hard to find good manufacturers who could produce it in a sustainable, eco way that she wanted. And also, because of the way it was imported into Europe, she couldn't actually sell it in countries outside of Switzerland because it was against EU law, because it didn't have these little tags on that you need. That made her sales very, very limited. So we had to kind of find a way around that, come up with a new solution, and then we analyze the different options. We break them down. In the end, we end up tweaking it, pivoting a little bit, and going in a new direction. So you'll see what that looks like. Hope you enjoy it, and I hope you understand how important it is to diagnose problems and get clarity on your brand first before you go and start taking action. Without further ado, let's get into it.
So in the beginning, I had quite problems with my Chinese supplier, the long delivery times, and also like when I got my stock, like finding my target market, my target group, like selling my products, and like I didn't know how to sell them or how to advertise it. I need help with the advertising strategy, finding my target audience, finding my target market.
And if you don't?
Then I have a big stock sitting in a warehouse in Germany and I don't know what to do with it. Also, I would like to challenge, like, would it make sense to have the production in Europe and not being dependent on China anymore?
So are you excited to start?
You're kidding me.
If I was in your position, I've got 3,000 euros worth of stock and I'm like, what is the best possible way I could use this money? Well, I'd be like, right, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna find every micro-influencer I possibly can in ABC location, and I'm gonna build a relationship with them and I'm gonna send them free product. I'm then turning that liability of stock into a marketing asset. Usually there's like a couple of different models, and these are general models. So obviously you're gonna have brands that are outside this that don't necessarily match this, but the ones that I've seen that really blow up and have a big potential, usually they're in these categories. So the 5200, and then you've got the 550 model, right? And the 5200 is where you source a product for under 50 euros and you sell it for under 200. The 550, you source a product for under 5 and then you sell it for under 50. If you're selling it at 50 euros and it's going to cost you 10 to make, it gives you 40 euros to acquire a customer at break even. Probably what will likely to happen around this price point is once you're flowing with your ads and you start to understand who your customer is, where they're hanging out online, how to create your marketing messages to reach them with your creative and with your copy and everything, this cost will come down and you'll be looking at around 20 to 30 euros max, right? Which would then means per item sold, you could be making a 10 to 20 profit. Now you're still gonna have to sell a lot of volume, right, to make good money, but at least you're making a profit, right? And at least you're building your customer base. Even if you're breaking even on this figure, I would be happy. I'd be more happy if you broke even or made a slight profit and acquired a larger pool of customers than if you were all about making as much money as you could in the short term, acquiring less customers, but it was more profitable. Because then what's going to happen is as you build out your brand and you want to sell more products to them, you want to think about your brand over a 12-month scale or a 24-month scale. When it comes to the UBP, right, you've got product innovation or you've got brand innovation. A lot of brands will focus here on brand innovation because there's nothing unique or different about the product. They're basically the same as every other brand. And they're like, well, what differentiates them is how the product's delivered to the market. So it's their messaging, it's their branding, it's the color scheme, it's the vibe of the brand, it's the story that they tell people. You know, for every product you sell, we plant one tree, right? We're associated with this charity, we save the ocean and the whales and the walruses and whatever it is, to create innovation in the brand to then get customers to resonate with the brand and buy the products. If we focus on product innovation, makes the whole thing easier. If not, brand innovation becomes much more important. It's much better in the beginning to start narrow and then go wide. Yeah. So many people have launched brands and they'll go a mile wide and they go too wide and that's the issue. So the only thing that matters in these first 6-12 months is you get a flagship product that works and you get a scalable marketing channel. If you have those two things and the flagship product needs to have the right margin, right, which yours does. So your product, in terms of just the setup, the mechanics of the product, has the ability to scale, right? With Facebook ads, with micro-influencers, you can give away a lot of them and it's cheap, and you can run Facebook ads and still make good money per product, right? Per unit sold. If I own this brand right now, the best thing I would do to turn the liability into an asset is I would use the stock for a micro-influencer marketing campaign and I would send it out as gift promotional campaigns and then I would offset that as a marketing cost. Then what you could do is build a pre-launch campaign. You want the products to be made in Portugal, to be sustainable, to be ethical. So the end consumer will get those ethical, sustainable products made in Portugal, but the influencers will get the ones that you have here from China. One of my friends' brands, what happened was he wanted to make gifting and micro influencer marketing scalable. So what he did was he had stainless steel watches, but then he had loads of cheap like alloy watches produced, and then he sent all the influencers alloy watches. Because one of the challenges with gifting is that if your product cost is really high, then it doesn't work, because if you want to give a gifting campaign to 200 influencers and your product costs you $100 to make, it's too expensive. It's not gonna, you're gonna have to spend so much money, right? The other option is we could run a Facebook campaign in Switzerland. I would look at spending 250 to 500 euros initially, okay? And with that budget, if you just don't get any traction whatsoever, you don't get any sales, you know that it's not working. Now, did you run video ads or did you run photo? Photo.
I don't have videos yet. But
Right. First thing with your Facebook ads is we need to go back to the beginning, and they need to be conversion-based ads. One of the biggest mistakes that brand owners make when they start out is that they don't run conversion-based ads, right? So when you go into Facebook dashboard, when you're in your business manager, they'll run ads for view content or build audience or whatever it is. They must be conversion ads, because your only goal when you start a brand is you're trying to understand, are people actually going to pull out their wallet and buy this? All these other numbers and all these other metrics like CPM, cost per impression, or cost per click, or ROAS or whatever, you've got all these different numbers, right? And people can get lost in them. But in the beginning, it's about understanding, does anyone actually want to buy my product? Do people want to buy it? So you're kind of validating it, right? What you don't want to do is try to kill yourself to create demand. You want to supply an existing demand, right? So you want to understand, where is there a kind of demand, then how can I supply that? But you only want a lookalike audience of buyers. I remember back in 2018, I think, we created this whole PR thing. It was like the world's first delivery of a watch via drone. And we filmed this whole stunt and this whole thing, and we got like the BBC involved, and we got thousands of website visitors, and traffic increased like crazy amounts. We didn't get any sales. You can test a product, you can get feedback early on with conversions. You can see, okay, how many people want my product? Then, based on this data, based on this educated guess, I'm now gonna go into full production. If you want to change your product anyway, so maybe you don't even want consumers to buy these. Now that's sort of a decision that you had to make, but basically those are your two options.
So we're done. We have just finished a roadmap session. Tell me how you're feeling now.
Good. Everything is new. Like, we completely switched plans. I came to Caliper with like my existing brand, my idea, and we kind of figured that we ran into big issues producing with the production, finding a good factory for it. And then we brainstormed again, how could we proceed? What can we do? And actually came up with a new idea. So yeah, this meeting was completely new idea, new way to go, and I'm pretty excited. I will start doing my research. It's a bit in between, letting things go. I had my brand, I did the logo, the website, the stock. It was my baby. And then realizing, oh, that might not work in terms of producing it. You have to let go. I'm pretty excited about the new idea because I think there's a big potential. Without Caliper, I wouldn't have been able to challenge and sit together, go to this new idea, get this new direction. Yeah, very excited about it.